Okay, so we're looking at period D here. All right, you'll need your iPad and a stylus. I'm sorry. Looks like you're going to be watching. Low battery. Okay, you can. You don't have to move, probably. It's a long cord. Welcome. Okay, so in Schoology, you will see a folder for this week. And then the week of August 17th has kind of a layout of how this week will go. So you do not see me tomorrow, but you will see me 4 times this week. And the last day that I see you, which is Friday, you'll have a quiz over what we learned this week. And then every day a folder will appear for that day, stuff that you need. This is different than how I usually organize things when we're together in class, but when we went virtual at, a minute's notice last spring, I decided it was going to be a lot easier for everyone to follow by day when you're not in the classroom with me. So I'm just going to start it that way this year, knowing that, there will be people from home and maybe I'll be at home and whatever. It's just easier to follow when you know that you can just go to that day's folder and everything should be there. Okay, so Nyla, there will be, look at the screen for a minute. In the Thursday, Friday folder, it says CW, it's classwork number 1. Go ahead and look at it. There's an attachment there, and I want you to fill that out and then submit to Schoology. And if you don't have, I'm going to start teaching in a minute, so it doesn't have to be like right now. It's just I need it from you because it's just like about get to know you kind of thing. All right, and then what was I going to say? You will need 2 things. So in today's folder, the homework assignment, go ahead and import that to Notability. Okay, and when you're importing to Notability, when you create a new note, you have the option of changing the name, so you don't have to have it the same as what I did. I will go by like homework number 1, homework number 2, and then also a short description, but it gets kind of funky when it gets translated from the PDF name to Schoology to the Notability. So if you want to change the name of that, take out the spaces, whatever, feel free. And then I want you to set up folders in Notability because after about tomorrow, everything is going to be in one big lump and it's going to be really hard for you to find things. So if you have not set up folders yet, I'll talk about that in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and pull that into chapter 1. Okay, and then also go ahead and get the lesson 1-1, same folder, the lesson 1-1 folder, the first document. It looks like that. Okay, go ahead and pull that into Notability as well. And I'm going to call this period D for lesson 1. So I would suggest that, let me go to Notability. Notability was being super weird and like not opening. So let's see if it takes forever this time. Question? You shouldn't need a password if you're on the CHS Wi-Fi. You don't want to be on guest. You want to be on CHS. Yeah. Have you never connected to the CHS Wi-Fi before? Okay. She told me last week. Hold on a second. Let me. You think it's what? Oh, yeah, yeah. forget it and then select it again. Sometimes that's all you have to do is just forget it and then it'll just automatically connect. I don't know, just every once in a while it kicks you out or something. Okay, for folders. So with Notability, your different courses are actually dividers. So when you go to add, divider means like religion, geometry, English, like whatever. Okay, that's a divider. And then after you make a divider, you can then add subjects to it. Those are like subfolders, okay? And then after you create them, you can, so I've got like this is my geometry folder. That's my geometry divider, and that's all my subjects, which are like chapters or whatever. So some people do it chronologically, but I would guess you're probably gonna wanna just do it by like chapter 1. And if you wanna do subfolders below that, you can also, or if you wanna do all your homework in one folder and then your lesson notes in another, or if you want to do within your chapter 1 folder, do like a notes subfolder and a homework subfolder, you decide what is gonna be helpful for you, but you have to have at least subject folders set up. And then as you start collecting more stuff, you can start putting in, you know, subfolders as you go. Okay, so let's see, the book. So for the book, if you go to the Cathedral website, and if you've already purchased the book, then you're set, but I know there's a little bit of confusion. I'm gonna go to the student portal. Okay, so on Cathedral website, the 3 little bars, the upper right corner, going to the student portal. And then I'm scrolling down under academics is the longest one that sticks out there. Textbooks, access, and ordering. Okay, and then order your books on the EdTech website. Log in with your school. And then log in with Active Directory means it's going to connect your PowerSchool to your EdTech account. Question? Under academics, it says textbooks, access, and order, something like that. Do you see it? Okay, and then when you click that, then you'll say connect with your school, and then you'll say log in with Active Directory. Active Directory means it's going to connect your PowerSchool in your EdTech account. When you log in here, it's CHS, lowercase, and then a backslash, and then it'll be your regular PowerSchool username and password. That does not include the @gocathedral.com. It's just the name part and then the 23 or 24 at the end. Okay, and then your password. So, what does it say? CHS backslash, and then okay, so I am not able to log in because I'm not a student, so I haven't really seen exactly what it looks like. But I do know that when you first get into the EdTech page, it kind of looks like you don't have a math book, and then you have to click something. There's like a my shelf thing at the top. Okay. My shelf thing at the top, you click my shelf. Somebody told me it was like more content or something like that. After you get into the account, you then have to go like one more step before you actually see the book. Okay. The book will be a yellow Glencoe. And there is an app that you'll use to open the book. Don't really worry about installing the book yet. Whoa. You just need to be getting the book soon. Okay. That's okay. And if you prefer to get a hardback book, you can do that as well. Instead, like you don't have to have a digital one if you prefer the hardback. The other thing is that when you log into EdTech, it will give you the option of buying from Amazon for some of your books. So if you scroll down to the bottom, it'll say like connecting to Amazon or something. That's not going to be an option for geometry, but if you're buying a hard, like a paper book for English or, some other subjects, you do have the option of going to Amazon to try to get, a better price. Okay, but that's how you access the book. And if you have more questions than that, I'm not sure if I can help. Okay, so is there like my shelf at the top or something? Click on that and then it still doesn't show anything? And it still doesn't show anything. I thought that if you went here, okay, I don't know much about this because it's not something I do. I know Mrs. Hollis said the teachers an email, but I haven't had a chance to walk through the process. So apparently you need to order the books through a link that they emailed you and then get the books through this process. I don't know. If you have questions, I'll try to help you, but I don't know how much help I'll be. Mrs. Schomer in technology usually is able to answer a lot of questions. Mrs. Hollis usually knows more than I know because she's got 3 kids here now. Woo! Yes. I don't know. I would buy it on your iPad. I don't know, but I think it's going to be a login. I think it's going to be just like it was in the past. Yourself like it was in the past where you had to like download the app and then you put in like username and password. So it's kind of like cloud-based or something, but I really don't know. So I would do it on your iPad because I don't know. Who was talking to me? Can you do what? Okay, so you need to actually delete the Realize Reader app if you're a sophomore and used it in the past, because it's actually a different app. It's like this, they sold to a different company. It's called like Salvis or something. Like I said, Mrs. Hollis has emailed me, and after I get a chance to like read through that and kind of like figure out what she's saying, I can give you more detail. But I do know she said if you didn't delete the app, it wouldn't install correctly. So apparently you have to order the books from the link, then you have to go and like pay for it. No, someone did. I don't know who. In the student newsletter or parent newsletter or something, maybe? I know nothing. This is what I was told. And so I've learned more in the last 10 minutes than I knew before. So, but you will purchase the geometry book through EdTech after you have like put in your order or whatever. Okay, that's about as much as I can say at this point. All right, we're gonna get going here on some other stuff, some notes and stuff. Okay, so let's go back to Notability and open the lesson 101 notes. Okay, this section is going to be a lot of moving, like rotating in your head and kind of seeing 3D stuff, so that can be a little difficult for some of us. But this is lesson 101 about nets. A net is a 2D diagram. A net is a 2D diagram that you can fold to form a 3D figure. It's just like when you see a box that is, so somehow I changed that. I do. Do that. Okay, so a box that's been collapsed. So like if you buy at the post office, if you buy like a priority mail box, it's sold flat and then, I mean, it's like mailed flat and then you put it together to put your stuff in to send. So a net is just basically like a flattened 3D shape. So here is the net, a net for a cube. So we're going to leave C as the front of the cube. So kind of envision C staying where it is, and we're going to wrap away from us. So you're looking at this shape directly in front of you, and then we're folding away from us. This picture is not like you're looking down on a box and C is the bottom of the box. Okay, you're not looking down the box. You're looking, you have this view, and you're folding back away from yourself. So in that case, D will be on the right side, C is on the front. Tell me the rest of the letters. I'm going to switch this to white. Hold on. Okay, C will be in the front. What else? Nyla? What is on the top? Okay, which way is the E oriented? Is it like sideways or is it like straight and down or? Okay, so E is going to be like that because of how they appear right there. Okay, you are, what's your first name? Luke Spencer. Go ahead. B is on the left. So we've got the left side is B. Okay, how about the back? How about the back? A. Tell me your first name again. Are you related to Lizzie Wagner? No. Okay. A is in the back. Right, and then the bottom is what? What letter's in the bottom? Is it Scott? Is that right? There are like a bunch of people that have first names as last names, and like this year, and it's just confusing me a lot. Okay, so Peter, what's your first name? Jordan? Okay. So the letter on the top is E and on the front is C. Okay, suppose the net above folds into the cube shown at the right. So I'm going to go back to this picture, and this time we're going to think about B being fixed, and we're still going to fold away, but that's going to stay our front. Okay, so we're still folding back and away from B. So B is our front. Okay, what will be on the left side and then right side? Left side is what? A, and right side is C. So left is A, right side will be C. Okay, how about the top? What letter's on the top? Is that right?
Yeah. E.
Which way is the E oriented?
Straight up and down.
So it's like,
No,
like
it's sideways.
okay, how? Draw it, show me. Okay, so how do you know that the E should be like this? It's kind of an ugly E, which gives you the idea. How do you know it should be that way? Because you like told me and then you changed your mind.
Because like when you fold it like into the B, it like turns over.
Okay. So an easy way to see it is because E and C are kind of facing the same direction. So the bottom of E has to match the top of C. So the bottom of E has to match the top of C, and that way you can get it oriented correctly. Okay, how about the, how about the bottom? What's on the bottom? Sydney. What letters in the bottom? Okay, and then what's left for the back? What's on the back? Okay. Now we have a prism, and you may assume that this is a right prism, meaning it's not like crooked or tilted or slanting. Okay, so that means all of those in the corners, those are all right angles. So is it true that 3 of the faces are rectangles? Yes. Why is the bottom not a square? Why is it a rectangle but not a square? Scott? Yeah, it's not equilateral, right? It's a 7x4 rectangle. Okay, true or false? 4 of the faces are triangles. 4 of the faces are triangles. Hello? How many are triangles? 2. Okay. The figure has 5 faces in all. True or false? The figure has 5 faces in all. Mr. Deemer, what's your first name? Yes, and it's true. Okay. Circle the set that the net that represents the figure above. Which one matches up to that shape that's up above? Somebody who hasn't talked to me yet. Ooh. What's your first name? Lily. And how did I have like 3 Lilies or something this year? That's not a very common name. Is it Lily? Lily. Got it. Okay, what was the question? Oh, which net matches? Okay, how do you know? So this is the only one that has, every time I change that presentation mode, it's gonna do this. That's so annoying. I wanted to, I'm just gonna leave it in this way. I wanted to do it in this mode so that you can see my tools at the top. There's a lot of things that Notability will do. And even if you are a sophomore and used Notability before, if you have never really done much in math with it, sometimes it does things you don't even realize it'll do. So I'm gonna try to teach you a little bit of Notability as we're also doing geometry. Okay, so if you, sorry. If you circle something and then kind of hold it, it'll make a nice circle for you. And you might notice there's little dimension dragger things you can use. And then since it's selected, if you hit style, you can change the color of it or the thickness of it. Okay, and you can also move it around. So if you grab it, you can also drag it and move it. Okay, so those are things that if you haven't used Notability, you might not know, and could be very helpful. You'll see me do, like, I move a lot and resize and, you know, that kind of stuff. So I'll try to show you as I'm going. What if you had like choice A is this, and choice B is this, and choice C is this, and choice D is none of these? Sometimes you need to be a little careful because they may give you a misleading diagram there. Like, you're like, oh, it has 3 rectangles and 2 triangles, but maybe the dimensions are wrong. Okay, maybe that's a 9 where it should be a 7. Or sometimes they'll put 2 different shapes that, you know, might have like 3 rectangles and 2 triangles. And so you have to be careful that you look at the dimensions. So, you know, if it's not, like this one's a little bit obvious. If it's not as obvious as this, just be careful. Okay, take a second and think about number 3. Which net cannot be folded into a cube? So the way that I think about these, I kind of do the same thing we did on the other ones. I sort of fix a face and kind of think about folding it around it to make the cube, or to attempt to make the cube. Which one does not fold into a cube? Sarah? Tell me why. Yeah. Right.
The second one, it's not really like that. You can kind of tell it's not going to hold like around.
Okay. One of those squares bothers me. Like, which one is bothering you? Do you know what I mean? Katie, do you know what I mean? Yeah, why? Yeah, so if you kind of tried to leave this like your front, and that became your left, and that became your top, and that became your bottom, you'd have this extra thing sitting there that would just sort of like, you know, be in the way. So the middle one is the one that's not going to work. The kind of weird thing about this question is, this problem is, they said circle the net that you cannot fold into a cube. I kind of feel like we should be Xing it out or something, but this is the one that we cannot fold into a cube. And that, again, that little guy there is kind of problematic. Okay, second page. Suppose you fold the net into a cube. What number will be opposite each face? I'm going to go ahead and draw a little cube here. So I'm going to make a little square and then finish off cube. I feel like it's time for a color change, so I'm going to change that to something else. Oh, how about, oh, I like this color. No, not that color. I like this color. If you don't have the colors that I have, that's because I'm special. No. If you go all the way to the right, you can add on whatever color you want. There's like an infinite number of colors here. So I don't know how many they'll actually store. Probably not infinitely many, but ooh, I didn't want to change it to that. But if you have not gotten yourself lots of colors, you should play around with that when you have a minute to sit and stare, like the 5 minutes at the end of every class when you're waiting on the sanitation to happen. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and, it says fold it into a cube. I'm going to make 4 my front. I just kind of like the way that one looks. So I'm going to make 4 the front here. Okay. And then if 4 is the front, then left would be 3. On the right would be 5. The bottom is 6. What is on the top and what's the orientation of it? It's a 1. What way is it facing? Sideways? Okay. So again, if you notice that the 5 and the 1 are kind of oriented the same direction, kind of imagine the bottom of the 1 has to match the top of the 5. So that means the 1's going to go like that. Okay. The bottom of the, not the best. The bottom of the 1 has to match the top of the 5. And then that must mean that the back is what? Okay, so that 2 looks like a Z. Let me try it again. Okay, so opposite faces. What's opposite number 1? Welcome to the construction zone. What's opposite 3? 5. And then opposite 2 is, oh, opposite 4 is 2. Okay, so that's top and bottom. 3 and 5 are left and right. And then front and back. So front's the 4 is the front, and then 2 is the back. Okay, so suppose that you fold the net into a cube. What number is missing from each view? So for the first one, you're seeing 1 and 5. The missing number is what? 4. Okay, now the reason that the numbers are backwards here is I think that they are trying to kind of fold it like in on itself. So you're sort of like it's transparent, you're looking through it. That's way too much for me to handle. So I don't even care what the orientation of the numbers is. I just want you to think about what kind of options you would have for that last face. What do you think? So we're looking at basically the left side and the back. 6 or yeah, I would take either 6 or 1. So basically notice that 2 and 3, you know, have to each share an edge with the face that you're looking for, right? And so 2 and 3 both share a face with 6 and with 1. Okay. How about the last one? What's your first name? Lindsay? Is it Ainsley? Got it. Okay, go ahead, Ainsley. 3. Let's see, 4 and 6. 4 and 6. Okay, 3 or 5. Yeah, I would take either of those answers. I'm not that picky about that problem. I think that there's a lot going on with all the rotating and everything. So. Okay, you get to color now. Draw in color. But you didn't think that was going to happen on your first day, official day of either your freshman or sophomore year. These are called isometric drawings. So this is called isometric dot paper. The thing that's special about isometric dot paper is that when you draw a segment, let's say you go 2 this direction, actually I'll go 3. You go 3 this direction, and you go 3 at like a diagonal, those distances will be the same. Now on graph paper, normal graph paper, I am going to go over here and add a page of graph paper. Does anybody know how to add graph paper? Scott? Uh-huh. Okay, so whatever size you want, you can put in graph paper there. And so I added that on a new page. So on normal graph paper, if you have a 3, if you have a 3 by 3, sorry again, a 3 by 3 right triangle. So these are both 3. How can you find that diagonal length? Anybody who hasn't talked to me today? Already talked to you, already talked to Scott. If I know your name, I've already talked to you enough for today. Some of you have no idea. Mr. Boshi, what's your first name? Say it again. Okay. You go by Johnny. Got it. Okay. Can you tell me how to find that missing link? The X. You know how to find that? Oh yeah, sorry. So this graph paper is different than the way that isometric dot paper works. So what's special about isometric dot paper is you can go diagonally and still through. On this grid, that length is not grid. The diagonal length is not. So I'm going to know how to calculate that. Not sure. Okay, so I'm creating here. Okay, what do the A and B represent? Do you remember that's called, what those are called? Does anyone remember what the sides are called? You're thinking of tray, no. They're legs, yes. Okay, so the primary theorem says leg squared plus leg squared equals, what's the side across the room? Hypotenuse squared. So if you wanted to find how long that segment is, you would go 3 squared plus 3 squared is x squared. That's obviously 9 and 9 is 18. How do you solve for x? So do you know how to solve that for x? Okay. And then after we do that, I want to simplify and express it as a simplified value. So x is the square root of 18. How do you break down the square root of 18 as a simplified value? You remember how to do that? You know, it's a top thing or something? Tell me how you know. Are you thinking of a factor tree or is that what you're or you think about yeah. So one option is to say 18 is 9 and 2, and then that breaks down to 3 and 3. And then why does it break out? There's a pair of them, that's all I'm saying. So there's a pair of them, so it comes out and then you're left with 2. Another way you can do that is to say the square root of 18 breaks down as the square root of 9 times the square root of 2, and the square root of 9 is 3. I usually do it this way if I can easily put the square goes into the number. Okay, so you want to make sure you try to get the biggest one so you don't have to do it more than once. But how do you want to break that down? That can be 2. So on a normal graph paper grid, going diagonally is not the same distance as going vertically. I am going to do a little snapshot of that. Copy, paste it up here, paste the image, download it. So it's a little map review segment. Okay, so we're going to copy over this 3D shape onto our isometric dot. So I'm going to use green to draw the green little cube there. So notice that they have kind of a scale already drawn there for you. So this segment is corresponding to that length. So we've got vertical segment, that's 3. And we'll go back 3. That's 3. Down 3. And across 3. And then we've got the whole, that was basically this front face here. And at the top, and the right side of it. And I'm going to use the highlighter to color it in. So the calendar, use. Not be hard today. So try to continue excitement. I'm sure you have this much fun when you were at home. All right, and then the blue cube. So we have blue, 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 blue. It's actually a lot easier doing this notability than it is on paper because on paper you have to use a straight edge or else it is not working straight at all. You have orange. There. You go straight up three. Go back three. And there's our isometric dot there's one other kind of picture that we're going to understand what to do with. So let's go back to the homework. Lots of clear page, and you found it the books that you have a bunch of stuff written on there. And you want to clear it all one time. When you go back to it, there is a clear page function. Three little dots. Clear page. Okay. Maybe to use assignment, you're going to notice that you have to make some isometric drawings on the isometric document that I gave you. I only gave you one page of it. So if you, like this one in particular is pretty big. So if it's taking up too much page, then you can just possibly do another page of isometric document. So copy, paste, and then you'll have the page. But let's say you forgot to copy it before you actually did problems, then you have all those, like two of the drawings already here. You're like, oh shoot, we don't have to put this in the paper. Actually copy it and figure that piece off. So we will compromise on the. Okay, on the second page of problems, I want to talk about the orthographic drawings at the top here. There's for each isometric drawing, you get orthographic drawings. Sometimes they're called orthographic. Basically, there's three views. There's going to be the top view, the front view, right? It could have given you left views that you really have to see. So what does mean? What the front view is on this one? And you're looking for the front position. So if you took a question and send it on it, what is the shape that you would see? So it would be this guy. What letters are they? And now. So it's like a really fat shape. So when you draw the orthographic drawing,
We're going to try to make it sort of to scale. I know it won't be perfect. Notice that it's 2 units this way, and 1 unit that way. So I'm going to try to this increase there. And that would be the front view. So there's nothing that's cutting that off. So I mean that's definitely not exactly. Okay, let's say we're standing over here and doing the right view. If you want to look that way, then you like you take a flashlight and shine it at the shape. What sides would you see? What face would you see? Okay, so it would be you see those two. Yeah, when you go to draw, that'll be like one big rectangle. Because there's a different sort of like elevation, like the bottom square is closer to you than the top square is. We're going to indicate that like in the little thing in the middle. Okay, that kind of shows that there's like a cut there. It's like a stair step and not just a vertical 1 by 2. Okay, and then lastly, it's asking you at the top view. So the top view, we're standing up here, looking down. My ear looks weird. Let me try it again. Looking down. What are you seeing if you're above looking down? What's it look like? Okay, it's a rectangle. What are the dimensions of the rectangle? What are the dimensions of the rectangle? Like the whole thing as you look down on it. Nyla. I want to know like 2 by 7 or like 1 by 3 or like 5 by 8. Oh, wait, tell me why you're saying 5 by 2. Okay, you don't want to be counting the dots, you want to be counting the distance between the dots. Okay, so like when I go from here to here, that's a distance of 2. So that's 1, 2, right? Yes, it's a 3 by 1. All right, so when you look down, I'm going to switch these guys over a little bit to come in my way. When you look down the top view here, yeah. Okay, the top view is cut into, so like in thirds, right? And the I have to put a little bar there to indicate that as you look down, this part is higher than that part is. Okay, so if I gave you those 3 orthographic projections, you could theoretically create the 3D objects, which is not easy to do all the time. So that's what's going to happen on number 12 here. Just do the best you can and try to come up with a 3D shape that would have those orthographic drawings. Okay, that one's a little bit challenging. So the homework assignment is due the beginning of the next class period, almost always. And so when you finish this, you'll be submitting it to homework number 1. You can do that as soon as you're done with it, turn it in, and I would kind of prefer that you do it right away. You don't have to do it until you come in the room the next class period, but it's a lot easier to just automatically, you finish it and then you turn it in. If you turn it in and then you realize, oh shoot, I didn't even do the last page, let me go back and do it. You just make another submission and it keeps both of them. And then you're like, oh, wow, I totally messed up that whole section. Let me go back and fix that. Go back and fix it, turn it again, okay? When I grade, I'm just grading on completion. As long as you made an attempt at something that makes sense on every problem, you'll get full credit. I don't want you to just write down garbage, but I do want you to try every problem. Because sometimes you might look at a problem and think, I don't have any idea what to do.
And then when you actually have to try to write something down, you start figuring things out. Just like how on a quiz or a test, you probably wouldn't leave something blank. You would try to write something. So, you know, just do the best you can. And then at the beginning of the next class period, we'll go over homework. You can check answers, ask questions, you know, we'll discuss anything that, you know, I want to point out and any questions that you have, okay? But I would recommend that after you finish homework, you just get in the habit of submitting it and then you don't have to think about it again. And you are also able to check submissions yourself. So it looks kind of like mine does, I think. Like when I look at homework number 1, submissions, there probably are not any there because that's what we're doing right now, right? But see how the info is on the left side, there's this little tab up here at the right that says submissions. You have a similar kind of thing. So if you aren't sure, like, oh, did I turn in that homework or not, you can always go check it. Because students are always walking in like, hey, did I turn in homework number 1? Hey, did I turn in, you know, and you can check that yourself. So if you always get in the habit of submitting as soon as you're done, it's, you know, rare for you to not have a submission. I don't accept late assignments. Now, that being said, obviously, if there's, you know, if you're really ill or there's some exception, then of course I would accommodate that. But in general, it's super important that you are able to have us, you know, keep up with the daily work because that's how you'll learn the best. If you don't try problems and you come in and we're discussing things you haven't thought about, then it's not going to be as nearly as helpful as if you've actually tried problems and then you can see what you did or did not understand. Okay. So we have not much time, but maybe like 2 minutes until official cleaning time starts. I'm going to come around and start spraying. So you can leave your iPad out, just get it off your desk so I don't spray you. My spray bottle's in there. Yes. Probably a good thing to do when you have this time-minute class. You know you have to go, and then it helps with congestion during passing periods. You have to be in your class. And also, if you would please look down your wheels and try to get down behind your YouTube. No, I can
Uh-huh. So if you go to Schoology and look at the top of the course, there's a like course policies or something that says on there, and that's basically like the main things I try to make sure they got like soon, you know.